Hope the lighting's okay. All right, let's do this again. Hello, I'm Alexa. Welcome back to my channel. I know a lot of you come to my videos hoping to learn how you can better set yourself up for success for a career in product design. The truth is, there are a lot of people who want jobs as a product designer, which means getting your first job can be quite tricky. As someone who has had their fair share of challenging interviews and rejection, let me tell you, once you're committed to the challenge and can persevere through, it is totally worth it. I don't want you to be alone in this journey, which is why I make videos like this one and try to connect with as many people as I can on Instagram. That's right, give me a follow, and if you have any questions related to design, message me and I'll do my best to get back to you. Make sure to stick around to the very end of this video as I've created something special that I'm excited to share with you as well. All right, portfolios. Many of you know this is the most important thing you need to have ready before applying for a design job. Portfolio is quite simple. It's a collection of your design work used to share with other people. But the question is, what should you include in your portfolio? Some of you may have many projects you could include, while some of you may not have any yet. Both can be challenges in their own way. I'll address both. In product design, I recommend that you include no more than 2 to 3 core projects that you're proud of in your portfolio to share with a potential employer. I can't really speak to what a good amount of projects is for other design disciplines, but in product design, this is the sweet spot. As a reminder, there is a difference between web design and product design, so if you're not sure yet which one you're interested in, check out this video I've made comparing the two to start thinking about it. I think one of the most confusing design titles right now is happening between the roles of a UX designer and a web designer. So if you have many projects to choose from and you're not sure which ones to include, a good test is to think through which ones you're really proud of. Use those ones. Ultimately, when you're in an interview, you're going to need to tell the story of the work, and the ones that you're most excited and proud of will be a better story to tell. Another angle to look at it could be about form. Maybe you're interested in companies which build mobile products. Then maybe a majority of the projects in your portfolio should be mobile products. For example, at Zendesk, where I work, our products are majority web products. So when evaluating projects and hiring, I tend to look at web product examples to go off of. It's just more relevant. If you're not sure about which projects to include, you can always go to my Super Peer profile and book some time with me, and we can chat about your work in a much more personalized way. There's a link to that opportunity in the description below. Okay, so on the flip side, maybe you don't have any projects yet. It can feel quite daunting. If you're planning to attend design school or participate in a design bootcamp, that is a great place to start because both of those learning opportunities are going to set you up with projects you can use in your portfolio. If you're not sure yet about committing yourself to one of those types of programs, well, you're still going to need to put together a portfolio to use for interviewing. So that means you need to come up with your own projects. Okay, let's talk about that option. And to do so, I want to bring you back with me to when I was studying design back at university at California College of the Arts. I loved design school. If you watched any of my past videos where I talk about CCA, you'll know I freaking loved it there. One of the most memorable classes I had there was a class called Advanced Visual Interaction Design. To this day, I still remember every single project that I did in that class and would do it all over again in a heartbeat. I remember every time we got a new project, it came with its own project brief that was clear and had unique constraints. Are you still listening? This is the most important part of the video. Projects need to have constraints. Constraints enable us to be creative in how we solve problems, so the more specific they can be, the more interesting the solution can become. This is also much more realistic since life is challenging and problems are not often straightforward. I'll give you a few examples. One of my favorite projects from that class was to design an ATM machine using no words. Another was to use a metaphor to design a native mobile mail application. My partner and I used bees for that project. It was super cool. I remember once looking at a project in a portfolio where the designer created a travel product explicitly for traveling in outer space. I think. That was super interesting. You could also use constraints in a more realistic way if that's the sort of project that you want to work on. Often specific types of people can be interesting to design for, or spaces like a park or the post office. You could give yourself budget constraints or even constraints around form. There's really endless potential. From time to time, I come across projects where someone has attempted to redesign an existing product, even ones that are widely used by many people like Facebook, LinkedIn, or Yelp, for example. Often these projects can look super interesting from a UI perspective, but often from a UX perspective have many issues. Here's the thing with redesigning an existing product. There are many people who work at these companies trying to improve how this product works, and they have a massive amount of information, research, and data that they're using to make decisions on how to improve the experience. As someone who doesn't work there, you just don't have the same level of insight and understanding. So to try and redesign the whole experience by yourself is unrealistic, and it ends up being too broad. Instead, I'd suggest you give yourself some nice constraints and approach a project looking at it at a very specific part of the product that could be interesting to improve. For example, I remember connecting with a designer earlier this year who was attempting to redesign Yelp, or at least that's how she had positioned her presentation. After chatting a bit about how broad that seemed, we discovered she was actually interested in solving for a very specific part of Yelp that she used a lot and thought there was opportunity to design a better experience around. That specific problem not only is more interesting to solve for because of constraints, but also it will be more straightforward to present as a project in an interview. And of course, with anything in life, there is nuance. If you want to attempt to redesign an existing product from scratch, go for it. See what you come up with. But really, at that point, why not just start your own business and try to solve the problem in your own unique way? If you're just starting out or need some guidance on how to come up with your own projects to use in your product design portfolio, I want to try and help you further. I'm excited to announce I've created a mini guidebook. In this guide, you will have access to multiple project prompts to get you started with projects you can use to include in your portfolio, as well as my recommendations for how to design your product design portfolio and prepare for interviews. I've already tested it out with some designers in the community and got great feedback. Thank you to those people who responded to my Instagram story poll, which connected us. This guide is only $10 with no weird countdowns or timers trying to pressure you into buying it early. I want this to be a useful resource for you and available to you when you are ready. As always, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you've stumbled across my video randomly and you're still here and you're not a subscriber yet, well, I'd love for you to be one. That is all for now. I hope to see you next time. Bye.